So, you guys, you digging the new backdrop? Hey everyone, John from ARTV. I figured 5 years on YouTube, almost as of releasing this video, well, maybe it's time for a little bit of a set change once again. I thought I would bring back the wall of music, add some new things. You can find me, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as you can see on my whiteboard, and of course all the links are in the description down below. Don't forget, you still have time to submit. As of watching this video, you can be a part of my anniversary video that is gonna be on my main channel right here on Album Review TV. Click the first link in the description down below, or the one that's floating around in the annotations here on screen. That'll take you over there. All you gotta do is just submit a video talking about the channel, 30 seconds or less, and you could be featured in the compilation video / Q&A that I'm gonna be posting here. And of course, you can enter to win my contest that's going on. Breaking into the review though, it's time for me to talk about the new debut album from Gerard Way, the former MCR frontman, My Chemical Romance, my second favorite band of all time, only beat out by Green Day. And the new album is called Hesitant Alien. I was very hesitant, I guess you could say, for this album. I was pretty nervous for it. Although I liked Action Cat a lot, that was the only song I listened to prior to this album coming out, I still couldn't help but feel like something wasn't going to be right or that something was going to be missing. But Gerard Way shows up, the album lands, and I am proved wrong. Way brings a ton of variety to the table here on this LP and honestly surprised me with a very coherent album. 80s punk trickles in here and there, a lot of 90s Britpop, and just an overall alternative feeling that kind of rounds out what this album is all about. Whenever My Chem announced their breakup in 2013, I was pretty devastated. In fact, if you want to see the video that I made that moment that I found out pretty much that they broke up, you can click the link in the description down below. But it did kind of devastate me, and it left a hole right here in the middle of my heart. I grew up with the band and I absolutely really loved everything that they did, but this album, I can honestly say, is helping to fill that void, helping me get some closure and just to move on. He does a great job at crafting songs that make you forget that he was all about My Chemical Romance. There's a lot of haters that I feel like are going to be shut up by this album for the simple fact that he made something that is better, honestly, lyrically, and honestly sometimes in the instrumentation than anything My Chem ever did. I need to clarify and say that no, I'm not slamming My Chemical Romance at all. You guys know how much I love them and how much they mean to me, but I'm just saying this feels like it was more written from like a place of freedom. He didn't feel like he had to be so big and so grandiose and over the top and write a record that really had this epic theme to it, like Danger Days or even The Black Parade. No rock opera here. You're getting something that does have a coherent flowing feel to it, but at the same time he just kind of made what he was feeling, what was inspiring him at the time, and I think that's what makes it so great. I'm gonna go ahead and briefly talk about each track on the record, starting with the opening track, The Bureau. I think that that one is a very ominous and brooding cut that kind of sludges forward at the pace of like a Queens of the Stone Age song. Not saying that that is a bad thing at all, and honestly it feels like kind of a bridge between My Chemical Romance and then the Gerard Way solo LP in terms at least of its vocal approach. It's filled with these kind of oddball keyboard hits and like weird kind of off-the-wall guitar strums that kind of just chug forward, and Way sings "Everybody's getting high, so am I" in this way that is just so apathetic, but at the same time it has a bite to it, and that's really what I can say for this song as a whole. They absolutely nailed it on this one, and I think that I'm in love. Action Cat is really what starts off this record though, and kicks things off with just kind of a spunk and tenacity that hasn't been seen yet. I think that Way kind of had a fire lit underneath him, was ready and a little bit angsty to get music out there, a little bit nervous too, I'm sure, releasing his first material since the My Chem breakup. Action Cat was the first actual song that we got, and it's got this fast 90s-esque feel to it. It's an alt-rock dream in my opinion. It is a little bit fuzzy and hazy, kind of like this entire record is. There's a ton of pedals and effects. I love the fact that he has these shoegaze influences, and you're going to hear everything from that to 80s punk to really everything that was all about the 90s, that alternative feel, the fuzziness of the 90s, and a lot of 90s Britpop. I think Action Cat is the catchiest song on the record and is going to have a lot of people feeling very nostalgic, and I really adore the guitar solo on it as well. Like I said, this album is a total fuzz fest with these noisy guitars and bass lines matching so well with the drum hits from Jared Alexander, who was the final drummer for My Chemical Romance, actually. No Shows was released as the single from this record. It also had this space-themed music video that really seemed to fit it. It also was like a talk show meets outer space thing, and I think it fits well with the whole hesitant alien-like style that the album is supposed to bring. I know that Gerard Way does have that inclination towards the fiction universe, but I really feel like this album is more personal and a little bit more raw in nature than what the title would suggest. No Shows is very hazy but still focused, with some very intelligent writing from Gerard here on this one. Everything just really makes an impact once those zany riffs start to kick in, and really the song just changes its pace entirely. The pedals and effects in the latter half of this song, mixed with Gerard's angst-ridden vocals that really just refuse to stay calm, make this one of the album's highlights. The track Brother is up next, and it kind of feels like a sequel to that final My Chemical Romance song, Fake Your Death, and I'm not sure if I'm really digging it or not. I do have to say that I love the line, "Does anyone have the guts to shut me up?" because I wish that people would do that for me sometimes. Musically, this song definitely pulls from some of that late Britpop that I was talking about, but I can't say that it particularly interests me, and it actually a little bit overstays its welcome in my opinion. The track Millions has been floating around the internet for a while now in demo form, and we finally have the studio version here. I have to praise the guitar tone that was used on this track, and it's just got that kind of laid back, almost beachy feel to it. I was laying out on the beach the first time that I ever listened to Hesitant Alien. I think that was what brought out so much more of my love and appreciation for Millions in particular. I really love the cut 00 for its dark and twisted focus with an almost yelled chorus that kind of harkens back to a vocal performance that Gerard Way might have given on an early My Chemical Romance album. Not to say that this track or really anything on this album sounds like My Chemical Romance musically, but it's hard for me not to draw the vocal comparisons sometimes. Like I said, he did a good job for the most part just kind of moving away from that My Chem sound completely and keeping my mind off of it. 00 is just point in case of why this album works so well for the most part. Juarez is one of the most clear and straightforward vocal performances that we get here on this album. The guitars on this one are sexed to the ears, making sweet, sweet love as the guitars squeal and howl and cause all of these sounds you would not expect to come out of Gerard's guitar. It's close to being my favorite song on this album, and he just really sounds tortured in that second half of the song, with the backing vocals kind of almost feeling like he's yelling at the voices and demons that are floating around inside of his own head. Drugstore Perfume is probably the most heartfelt and endearing cut on this album, if you want to label it as such, I suppose. A struggling single mother is the subject of this song. It's a blast of 80s styled music in this album that feels very much 90s as a whole. Perfume flows into my personal favorite from this record, Get the Gang Together. It starts off as glitchy and as offbeat as your favorite Sonic Youth track, building into this massive rocker that will shake your speaker system with its shimmering and intrusive guitar riffs. Gerard gets feisty with his singing. I love seeing him come alive, and the instrumentation just stays at such a close level with the vocals, making it kind of fall into the noise rock category in my opinion. I'd love to see more material in this vein, as Way seems like he's right at home, fitting in with this noisy and almost psychedelic territory. How It's Going to Be sounds deceptively upbeat and somehow works its way into the back of my head throughout the day, even though you wouldn't think that it would be one of the more hooky songs on the record. The instrumentation on this one is really what makes this song have its own unique identity. Maya the Psychic sets the bar really high for a closer on this record, and I think that why it works so good is it serves up this big old dose of punk-leaning rock and roll music. The track does further confirm those reports that I said earlier about Gerard Way speaking to those voices in his head, and this time he seems to really be having a full-on conversation with them. The weirder this album seems to get, the more it actually works. Hesitant Alien is a glammed out, fuzzy guitar lover's dream come true. This is an excellent album that showcases a lot of the best things that Gerard did with My Chemical Romance while still incorporating numerous new sounds that My Chemical Romance probably would have never dared to have tried. It's a 4.5 out of 5 for me. Are you guys glad to see Gerard Way doing his own thing? He's obviously not with the band anymore, and we cannot hold him to that standard. We can't say, oh, I wish My Chemical Romance would get back together. Gerard is out and he's killing it on his own. Let me know your thoughts on the album in the comments section down below. If you have not heard it yet, you were missing out. There is a link down below to stream it. And of course, do not forget to enter my contest. You have up until 10 p.m. Eastern on September 28th. Thank you for hitting the like button on this video, subscribing to the channel. We're closing in on 9,000 subscribers just in time for my 5th anniversary with Album Review TV. Thank you guys so much for watching ARTV Beyond the Reviews.